Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. How can the simple purchase of a couch lead to an arrest and a court hearing, you ask? Very simple. You just have to be our OP's friend with a little bit of bad luck. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. You'll deliver the free couches or I'll call the police and sue. A friend of mine, John, and his wife, Jane, just bought a new sectional couch. Their old couch and love seat are in pretty good condition, just an ugly color, so they decided to just give them away. They put an ad on Craigslist that says they're free to anyone who wants to come pick them up. They get a few calls, then a woman calls and comes out to see them. She arrives driving a small car, likes the couches, and says she'll take them. Great. She then asks when we can deliver them. John explains the ad says the person taking them has to haul them because he doesn't have a truck. A strange conversation occurs for a few minutes while she tries to grasp the idea of a furniture store delivering. Eventually, she says, "How about a U-Haul truck?" Jane agreed that would work perfectly. The woman explains she needs to run a few errands, then we'll call to arrange a time. Great. About an hour later, she calls and says she's home and we can deliver the couches whenever we want. John explains to her once again that she needs to haul them. She says, "I thought you were going to rent a U-Haul." He responded with, "I thought you were renting the U-Haul." "You said you'd rent the U-Haul," she said. "Why would I rent the U-Haul?" he asked. "So you can bring me the couches," she said. Frustrated, John gives the phone to Jane, who calmly explains that the ad says she has to haul the couches. If she wants to rent a U-Haul, we'll happily help her load it, but we aren't renting a U-Haul to give her free couches. She says she'll come over and figure this out. About an hour later, she shows up in the same small car and tells John he needs to either go rent a U-Haul or find some with a truck to haul these. He said he'll do no such thing. If she wants them, she hauls them. You can see she's getting pissed when she tells them that they agreed to give her the couches and haul them, and that it's a verbal contract, so if they don't deliver them, she'll sue them for breach of contract. At this point, Jane steps in and calmly explains to the lady that they've changed their minds and they aren't going to be getting rid of the couches. She seems pissed but leaves. An hour or so after that, they get another call asking about the couches. This person asks if they can be delivered, and they're told no, but if they live close by, they'll help them load and even unload them at their place. 20 minutes later, the angry woman shows back up and starts screaming that they promised her the couches, so it's illegal to give them to anyone else. It turns out that caller was her friend calling to test if they're really still giving the couches away. John and Jane ask her to leave and tell her even if she gets a truck, they aren't giving her the couches. She pulls her car up so it's blocking their driveway and calls the police. When the police arrive, she tells them she's the owner of the couches and we won't give them back to her. What happens over the next 15 minutes blew my mind. She lied to the police, her friend lied to the police, she got angry and threw her keys at Jane and eventually ended up getting arrested because she refused to leave. Her friend took the car and left, and we were all left shaking our heads. On the positive side, the cop's brother needed a couch for his den and he came and got him. Update. Just a real quick update from a few weeks later. When CB was arrested, she was given and failed a breathalyzer test. Since there were multiple witnesses and video of her driving, she was officially charged with DUI, filing a false police report, criminal mischief, and creating a public nuisance. That likely isn't the actual formal name for that last charge, but I can't remember the exact title. I had to give an official statement, and she was given a court date that's in a few months. From what I've been told, at that date, she can either make a plea deal or choose to go to trial. If the plea deal's done, that'll be the end of it. If she wants to go to trial, a trial date will be set. The person from the investigator's office that took my statement believes it's most likely going to end in some kind of plea. However, if it does go to trial, I may end up having to testify. That lady's mindset hurt my brain, and I wasn't even there to experience it. I feel real sorry for your friends who had to personally deal with her. And our second story. Karen gets sent to the hospital. Cast. Karen, we all know what they're like. Me is me, Cop 1 and Cop 2. Manager and worker. It had started off as a good day until I went shopping at the local Safe Stay. With what's going on in the world, I was determined to not linger and moved on about my shopping with purpose, not lingering anywhere unless I had to. Such as in the case of pausing to read a label. I did pause to help one elder lady who asked me politely if I could get something off a top shelf for her. That was my mistake. I turned to go back to my shopping when I heard, "Excuse me," the call of the wild Karen. Before I even turned, I popped out the words, "I don't work here, never did," turned as I spoke, and there before me was a living meme, every inch a Karen. "You helped that old hag," she screeched, "so don't try to tell me you don't work here." I helped her because she asked politely for my help, you rude old witch, unlike you. So you can just toddle off and take care of your own shopping. And by the way, I don't work here, I said sharply to her, turned and went back to my shopping, steadfastly ignoring her screeching and yelling. She followed me, all the while screeching for a manager. A worker approached to see what was going on, and she yelled, not asked, full-on yelled at her to get a manager immediately. The worker scuttled off, not wanting to deal with an irate customer, to find a manager. Can't hold her to any blame here. It didn't take long for a manager to show up. She, the Karen, started yelling how I was rude to her and refused to help her while at work, blah, blah, blah. When she was informed that I'm just another customer, she went back crap crazy and got much louder, insisting that I do work there, and she saw me helping someone else. It was then she made a huge mistake. I turned and stepped a few feet away to grab something I was getting anyways when she screeched a wordless "Ee!" and charged after me. She made a grab for me, determined to see me punished for not being her servant of the moment. I dodged her easily and stepped aside, letting her rush past. When she did, she tripped and fell flat on her face and didn't immediately get up. I never touched her. She did it to herself. If that were the end, you all know I wouldn't have posted here. By the time she started to stir, the police and an ambulance had been called. Police arrived first, within 5 minutes, so must have been nearby. They were checking her over as best they could without moving her when she started stirring and trying to get up. Of course, she tried to say I shoved her and assaulted her, but the manager had already told them what happened. They would view the security footage when she'd been seen to. She was a mess, too, bloody all down her front once she was able to sit up, probably from a broken nose or teeth. I wasn't cuffed as I was being calm and not angry. If anything, I was concerned for her. The paramedics arrived shortly after and did their thing and hauled her off on a gurney. Last thing she yelled is that she was suing everyone, very loudly and very rudely. I pointed at the ceiling and said, "Security cameras, good luck with your suit." The police took a look at the security footage, got my name, address, and phone number, and sent me on my way. I'm puzzled at how nearly everywhere I go, someone thinks I work there. Most people are polite or even apologetic when informed that I don't work there, but some, they make shopping or getting out a hilarious and annoying adventure. And our last story. Private property? Not to this Karen. I'm a volunteer search and rescue canine handler, and my dogs are pit bulls. I've been in SAR for 11 years now and never really had much of an issue. Every once in a while we come across someone who doesn't understand what we do, but after a few minutes of explaining it, people change their attitudes and even get excited because we allow them to follow us and see what we're doing. Yesterday, I was working my younger dog who's almost ready to certify but still has some minor issues we're training him on. We're working 20 acres of private property out of the 600 acres available to use. So my dog's off leash, has 3 collars on him, and is searching wonderfully. I'm watching my dog and I can tell he has human scent. There's obvious body behavior. You can see when a dog's in scent versus not. He's working around a large wood pile about 100 yards from me when he takes off over a ridge line. A few minutes later, he comes back and jumps on me, which is how he tells me he's found someone. I start to follow him when I hear a lady yelling. By this time, my dog's come back again and told me again he's found someone. Still running behind my dog, I come around a corner and there's Karen, in all her glory, swinging a hiking pole at my dog. I give my dog tons of praise. I mean, here's a lady screaming at him and waving a scary pole in his face, and he didn't care at all. He did his job very well. That's what I want to see in my dogs. Karen, how dare you let your dog off leash? Me, sorry ma'am, I'm with Search and Rescue and we have permission to train our dogs off leash. Karen, no! No dogs are allowed off leash. Your dog is dangerous. Me, ma'am, you're on private property. My dog's training to find missing people. Karen then whips out her phone and starts recording me. Karen, you think this behavior is acceptable? Me, yes, that's his job. Karen, I demand to speak to your supervisor. Well, how my team works, we have senior members. We technically have one person in charge of the team, but we're considered supervisors and in charge of everything. We have full rights to speak on behalf of the team, dismiss people for dangerous behavior, make decisions, etc. Me, I'm the supervisor. Her, there's someone above you. Me, actually, no there isn't. I'm sorry you're upset, but what happened is what my dog's supposed to do. Her, you should ask people before you let your dog run up to them. Me, you're trespassing on private property. You shouldn't be here. Karen, what's your name? Me, OP? Karen, your last name. Me, you don't need that. Karen then turns to the two men that were with me and takes photos of them and my dog, who's still off leash, playing with his pink pig and laying in the snow. Karen, do you approve of this? What are your names? Both guys shrugged and said, she's the one in charge. Then finally Karen huffed off and my dog got back to work to find the guy that was hidden 20 feet away from where this whole thing took place. Later, she ran into the rest of the senior members and had words about how my dog charged her, acted very aggressive, and how I gave him treats for that behavior. They also tried to explain it to her, and she told them to hush and that there was obviously something wrong with everyone on our team. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.